Hey guys.
Hey, Coach. We'll start with Paris Lawson, OKCThunder.com.
Hey, Mark, you guys have fallen short in the closing minutes of the past three games. And you mentioned before the game that those moments require an emphasis on execution as it comes down to a possession game. What did you think of the way your group was able to close the game out tonight?
Yeah, obviously good. We got stops, timely stops and rebounds, and we executed well down the stretch. And I think, we did a good job of carrying the lessons from our trip. Those were all possession games. The two Minnesota games were possession games. So we played five straight games that were kind of down the stretch before tonight. And I thought, like we have all year, the team's done a great job of just focusing on where we can improve, detail by detail, and just allowing the cumulative effect of that to show itself over time. And so I thought tonight that showed up a little bit for us.
Joe Masato, the Oklahoman.
Mark, how did you decide to have Justin Jackson in the starting and closing lineups tonight, and just discuss this, what he's given you on the offensive end? Obviously, the last shot, the dagger three, but back-to-back games with 20 plus points.
Yeah, I mean, as we mentioned, for the season, we're going to look at a lot of different things. And then in this particular stretch, just with having the guys out that we do, like I mentioned, we're trying to look at this as an opportunity to try to discover different things of the team, even tactically and also personnel-wise. So we wanted to take a look at it there. And then we closed them because obviously he was playing really well. He played really well in Denver. And with the way they play, I mean, they're going to really try to make you make shots. And, he obviously hit a big one there down the stretch as well.
Nick Gallo, Thunder Broadcasting.
And Mark, just wanted to ask you about kind of the mental stamina of your team to continue with the ball movement, continue attacking the way you did offensively and sharing it the way you did offensively. Really seemed to kind of keep Milwaukee at bay.
Yeah, I mean, I thought we did a great job. Right after the first stretch of the game, we took a minute to get into it, and then we course corrected really well. Look, Milwaukee is a really good defensive team that forces you to do that. There's really no other choice against that team. It's required in order to get quality looks against them. And I thought the guys did a great job of creating advantages and then, using ball movement to keep it ahead of them, or even just using ball movement to get the advantage. And so, really, really pleased. But it's no different than how we've played, to be honest with you, the last week or so. I think, we just did it probably more consistently tonight.
Cliff Brunt, Associated Press.
Yeah, Coach, I know you don't maybe get caught up in who teams are and this and that, but they've got a couple of all-stars who played like all-stars tonight. Giannis had a triple-double, Middleton, 23 points. Their guys did what they do, and you guys held on. How important is it to get a win like this against a team that has that caliber of players, that caliber of all-stars who've been through an awful lot in the Eastern Conference?
Well, I mean, I'd throw this in the same bucket as, the Lakers in Denver this past week. It's less about, the win. It's when you play teams like this, those teams require, in order to even be in the game against these teams, these are elite NBA teams, they require 48 minutes of execution and attention to detail. And there's unique things about each opponent that you have the opportunity to focus on. And these games are all an opportunity to sharpen our blade. And they're all a barometer of kind of where we're at as a team. The only way you know how good you can be or how much you need to improve or where you need to improve is when you test yourself against the league's best. And Milwaukee, we have high respect for, and they're one of the league's best. And, we were able to, improve as a result of being able to play them and compete with them tonight.
Myron Patton, Fox 25.
Yeah, Coach, I wish you could talk about how just the demeanor of your team. It's another close game, just like the others out west that you lost. But they seem, outside looking in, to be pretty confident that they can make some things happen. Dort, Baisley, some big plays. Just talk about the demeanor of another close game and how they were able to deal with tonight.
I mean, the competitive experience, especially, in the NBA with this particular schedule, this unique season, part of the thing is you're going to get knocked down, you're going to get beaten up and you're going to hit the mat a lot. And, I give these guys such credit. Obviously, Lou struggled shooting the ball, and, he was relentless, not only shooting it better tonight, but getting to the rim and getting to the line. Baisley, you guys have talked about all season, and, there's going to be times where he's up, times where he's down. But he kept coming tonight. He was outstanding. And then, the rest of the team, it's just all, 9 guys that touched the floor. I thought embodied that type of resilience. And, that's what, the NBA and this schedule and life requires. You got to be able to be really resilient and persistent. And we've got a bunch of guys in the locker room that definitely embody that. And I think it's been on full display the last week or so.
Barry Trammell, the Oklahoman.
Yeah, Mark, when Jackson hit that shot, there were how many seconds left? Al Horford came running at him as the timeout started. He came running at him with a huge grin. How much is Al helping all these guys and as a veteran presence who sort of the big brother that's sort of mentoring all of them? How big is that kind of role for him this year?
Well, I'd venture to guess with Al's nature and just with the way he started, this is probably, if I had to guess and project, is probably one of the more vocal experiences he's had in the NBA as a leader. And it's a credit to him. He's an unbelievable person and an unbelievable player. He had 9 assists tonight as a center, which is crazy. But, I also think it's a credit to the other guys. I think it's a credit to the group because they're so, it's so easy to root for everybody on our team that I think guys like Al recognize that. And it makes it easier for a guy like Al to want to invest in them when they're as tough and persistent and high character and hardworking. And in Justin's case, Justin, whether he plays or doesn't play, every game day he's in there at 9:30 shooting. He was in there this morning in a snowstorm. And so Al recognizes that, and Al, invests that. But, it's important to recognize that I think some of the, these guys are kind of pulling that out of Al a little bit too, if I had to guess. And same with George Hill, same with Mike and Darius Miller.
Logan Newman, Thunderwire.
Hey, Coach. You touched upon the course corrections earlier, but after the Bucks went on that 13-3 run in the first quarter, you called the timeout and promptly went on that 14-0 run. What adjustments did you make that early?
It wasn't really an adjustment. It was just, it's a 48-minute game, and there's a lot of ebbs and flows. It's just there's too many possessions, too much randomness, too many good players on both teams for the game to be just consistent. And that's why it's such a great game to play and coach and watch. There's going to be ups and downs. So it was really just, regrouping and refocusing everybody on what the blueprint was for the game on both ends of the floor. And, we weren't terrible in the first few minutes, but against a team that good, you can't be average or above average. You have to be great at it. And for the rest of the game, our execution was great. I thought we really handled the details we needed to in order to compete with that team.
Daniel Bell, Black Sports Online.
Hey, Coach. Sorry if you already answered this. I came on late, but the Bucks are #1 defense in the NBA. What was the key to slowing them down tonight? They only took 9 free throws when they normally take 21. Only hit 13 threes. You guys limited them in the paint. So what was the key tonight?
Well, first of all, we call these silly fines. It's $200 silly fine if you're a little bit late. So you can hit us with that, and we'll put it in the pot. And then, our defense did a really good job. I thought putting a lot of pressure on Antetokounmpo with our help and really making him feel a crowd, which sometimes doesn't even work with him. But there's a cumulative effect of that over the course of a game against great players, and that's what they require, and that's what he requires. And then, I thought the multiple efforts, when you help that much on a player like him, and then you're doing it with a team that shoots it as well as they do, you got to really make efforts to close out hard and also get your help defense pulled over to those hard closeouts. And I thought we made those multiple efforts tonight.